Okay. Mike, who getting the
Oh no! Stop. No.
Mike,
Where do I put it?
on your shirt right here. Cristal, you also are speaking, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, you grab it and you just hold the button so you see the green little light on, okay? I'm gonna leave it
Am I
here.
on?
Yeah, you're on already. I think so. Let me. Yeah, you're on.
Should I? Is it for like Zoom? Hey, Zoom, you hear me? You hear me? Can you hear me?
I'm trying.
Yes.
Can you hear us, Nancy?
Nancy, give me a thumbs up. Can you hear me?
Yeah! That's funny. Do I need a contract?
OnTrack on the OnTrack? Yes.
All right, my friends.
How cute you look, Cristal.
No.
Are we giving people just some time to come in still?
Yeah, Robert's just bringing some pens for people.
Wonderful.
Hey.
There's Robert.
What's up? What you guys doing?
Hi.
Okay, you guys.
Hold on, let me do an announcement and then we're gonna get this going.
Okay. How many OTE pens do you guys have? Tell us you have those orange pens, right? Okay, good. Good.
Do you need one now?
We have tons.
Do we switch from farmer's pen to?
Yes, ma'am. You gotta use the orange pen.
I'm good.
They are the best pens.
They are. They really are.
And I love giving them to my clients and they try to use them and they don't know that the little cap.
Every time. Every time.
They're like, these pins
And I don't tell them. I like to struggle.
I have someone get so mad. He started to write and it had the ball on there. And I was like, oh, there's a ball. And he just threw the pen to the side, grabbed another one. Started to go again. I'm like, oh, there's a ball. He threw it to the side, grabbed another one. He went through like 4. And I was like, you know what? Let me just do it for you.
And 4 times she said there was a ball. I was like, yeah, you know what? Go for it. Nice.
On the camera?
Yeah.
Can you see like this way or no?
Yeah, you can see him there. Like towards the door.
Okay.
I don't like to take on time to be someone.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay, good. All right. Hi, guys.
Hi.
I'm Monica. This is Missy. So we today are going to go over a escrow timeline for you guys, just to give you a peek behind the curtain so you know what we're working on for those 30 to 40 days that we're in escrow, okay? And then once we run through these, you also have 2 pages. So the back page there is a 3 different emails. I circled which one is which. You have a status update, a funding update, and then a confirmation email. So we'll jump into those as we're going through, okay? And then when we're done here, I'm gonna pass it to Cristal, and she's gonna kind of jump into like the TC side of the escrow timeline, okay? So starting at the top, we have the best day, opening day. So that's when you guys are sending your executed contract, fully executed, to us. On our side, when we receive it, we're going to assign a escrow number. You're going to get an email going out to you with that escrow number, and then information that we need on our side. So your seller and buyer's contact information, if there's any reports, I mean like if there's fire report or anything like that we need to order. And then, yeah, any questions that we need to go through the opening process, okay? And then we also are going to send out our opening requested title. So we're letting them know that we've officially opened escrow on this property, so they can get the LNV over to us, the legal vesting, the tax rolls, and then start working on the prelim, because that takes usually about 3 days to get to us. And then we also send out the initial estimate to the lender. So they're going to get, that's the first time we're making contact with the lender, again letting them know that we opened. This is the escrow number, and this is a basic initial estimate of the fees. So escrow fees, title fees, all that, okay? And they're gonna need that so they can disclose the loan. And then from there, opening day, we're gonna move into a day 1 and day 2 process. And in those 2 days, what we're collecting is a bunch of information. So we're following up with you guys as the agents for that information that we first requested. If you haven't replied to our emails yet, you're gonna get a follow-up. If you haven't replied by day 2, you're gonna get a call. So that we can get that information in. We're also, in those days, ordering the reports. So the natural hazard disclosure, home warranty, we also order that for you guys as well. And then we're gonna, by this time, have the prelim in from title, and that's when we're gonna audit the prelim. So see what all items need to be cleared and what's gonna run with the property. And then, again, follow up with any remaining information. And also in that time, that's also when you guys should be telling us if you have any TC, if you want us to, if you have a TC, then we'll forward that email to them so that they can provide that information for us. Okay, and then day 3, we're going to move into escrow packages. So that's when we're going to get everything typed. We're going to send out the escrow package to the seller and the buyer. Set up an appointment with the seller if they are local so they can sign and have that grant deed notarized with us. Buyer, we can just send it through DocuSign, so we'll get those out to the clients. And then you guys also, as agents, are getting an email. It's going to include the NHD report, copy of the EMD receipt, the prelim, all that's going to be in there too, so you guys have a copy as well. Home warranty, everything is going to be in there for you guys as well. Now, after it is typed, we move into processing. That's pretty much where it stays for the duration of the escrow. So we're probably in processing for about 2 to 3 weeks, okay? In that time, we're working on a lot of things. So we are processing in the seller and buyer escrow packages. If we haven't received them in yet, we're going to be following up with them so they can get that information into us. We like to have those in within the first week so that we can really get it processed in a timely manner.
Request payoff demands, get the vesting to the lender.
So we're going to obtain all the releases, like encumbrances, anything that's on title. That's when we're working to get all of those in so that we are good to get it closed once we get to that time. And we also touch base with the lender. Every single time we're touching this file, we're going to reach out to the lender, find out where they're at with the loan process, if the appraisal has been ordered, if it's been completed and they already got the report in. Reason we ask that is to know where they're at on their side, where they're at in their processes too.
The loan has been approved, if there's an early loan estimate to get to us with their fees, so we can start
Plugging
filling
in.
the lender's numbers.
Also in processing, we're following up with you guys for your CDAs, your commission agreements. If you guys are charging like the $199 or anything like that to your seller or your buyer, then we need to get those into escrow as well. I'm going to have you guys look at that back email real quick because that's the first email that you're going to be getting out from us or during the processing period. So how that is looking, it's the top one here. And this is our status email. So in that very first box where it says status notes, every time we are working on the file and we send out an agent status to you, this is what you're getting. And we are always starting it with the date that we're working on it. So like this is an example from today, 6/20. And then what we did. So I followed up with the lender for the appraisal and the loan status. And then you're going to have initials from whoever worked on it. So it kind of narrows it down. If you need to call and ask questions, you could say it was initials MS. And then it's a breakdown of everything that we have and still pending. So you could tell on this one when we got the preliminary title report in, when we got the NHD report in, if seller and buyer packages are received yet. Down below is your stuff, the agent stuff. So if we're still pending your CDA or your commission agreement, if the CDA is not being issued, like this one for the buyer's agent, it's not applicable. So we have NA there. Goes into termite report and then lender and appraisal stuff down there too. Okay, so this is this, like I said, you get every week at least once, so that it gives you an idea of where the file's at. Okay. So back to that front page. After it's been in processing, again, it should be there for usually about 2 to 3 weeks, and then we will move into pending loan docs. By that point, we should have balanced usually to the closing disclosure. The closing disclosure has been released by the lender, sent to us for balancing, and generally clear to close has already been released. So we are just at that point pending loan docs. We're waiting to get those docs in. And that is a daily task. So once we get into waiting for loan doc status, we follow up every day until they're actually sent, released to escrow. And then once docs are received, first thing we're going to do is reach out to the buyer, set up the appointment for the signing, whatever date those docs are dated. Most of them are date sensitive, so they can't sign before loan docs are dated. So that's the first thing we're doing is reaching out to them, getting it scheduled with them, as well as with the notary. So we'll get that appointment set up. Any final items that we have for your sellers, we're gonna DocuSign those over to them. There also could be some items for you. If it's like an FHA loan, there's some certs that need to be signed by you guys, so we'll DocuSign those out to you. Once we get the docs in, I want you guys to know. So once we get loan docs in, people always think, okay, docs are in, so they're gonna sign right away, right? It does, we get the appointment set right away, but it does take us a little bit of time to prepare them to be signed. So once we get them in, I'd say roughly what, an hour at least?
I would say about an hour. We
Yeah.
have to review the vesting, make sure it's accurate. Even though we give a vesting amendment to the lender, sometimes we get loan documents and the first page of the deed of trust vesting is incorrect. Or we get a pushback and the lender says you have to match our deed of trust, so.
And in that too, in that hour, we're also, again, making sure the fees, nothing else has changed since, you know, the last time we balanced with the lender. We're also making sure that our items are all prepared too, because we have some final escrow items that need to be signed. So
Yes.
we're prepping the whole package for them. So it usually takes us about an hour or so to get that ready, and then we can have them good to go, good to get signed. After that, once docs are signed, the following day is when we can work on funding. So in funding, you're going to get an email, of course, and you're also going to get that email when the loan docs are received. We keep you guys updated every step, so you'll know exactly when we get the loan docs in. If we've already had the appointment set with the buyer at that time, it'll be in the email for when they're signing. So once we move into funding, that's when your buyer is going to send their closing funds to escrow. Has to be a wire or cashier's check. Cannot be personal funds or personal check. Reason for that is it takes 7 days for that to clear. So too long, obviously, if that bounces. So it has to be wire or a cashier's check. So once the docs are signed, also on funding day, we're sending those signed loan documents back to the lender. Once they receive them, they're going to send us a list of funding conditions. So last final items that they need to get that loan officially funded. And there are cutoff times, which are usually about what, noon or 1?
It depends, probably, some are 11, it depends on where the lender is located too. If they're in the Midwest or the East Coast,
Yes.
but typically about 1 to 2 p.m., sometimes a little bit earlier, so.
So if buyer hasn't sent their funds yet, or their funds haven't hit our account yet, and we're past cutoff, then it's got to get pushed to the next day.
Unfortunately.
And you're also getting a funding email. So back to that back page there, the second one, the gray box there, that's our funding status. So you're going to get a funding status every day that it's in funding with items that we're still pending. So if we haven't received the buyer's closing funds in yet, that's going to be in there. If seller hasn't DocuSigned their final items, we still need to get those back in. And then funding conditions from the lender. So whatever, again, the lender is needing to get that loan funded.
Yes.
And then the money also goes from the lender, sends the money to the title company directly, and recording package is sent to title. So everything that's going to need to get recorded, grant deed, deed of trust, all that's going to the title company. Okay. And then we're going to move into recording. That's the best day, right? That's when you guys find out it's recorded, it's closed, happy closing. So that's when, once we find out it's officially closed, we're going to wait to get the confirmation email from title, and they're going to confirm that it's closed, and then we will forward that information to you guys. So you get the fun part of telling your clients we're officially closed. Okay? And then, of course, organize the key exchange. That's the fun part. So, and for also to note for a recording, there's no time frame. Title doesn't have like a cutoff time to, let us know if it's recorded or not. We're just kind of at the mercy of the county recorder for that. So, generally, if we don't have recording by like 3 p.m., we like to give them a call.
Yes.
And then,
Okay, so once we have recording confirmation, we have to wait for the incoming wire from the title company. And that's how we disperse our file. So we disperse within 24 hours because typically when we get titles wire in, after titles made the payoffs and all the recording docs, then it's usually past cutoff for us for that same day to disperse. Plus we have to balance the file. We have to make sure everything's in, all of the invoices are correct. And that's why we do like to ask for at least 24 hours to make sure everything is intact and balanced
And you'll see that last email there too. That's the congratulations, we are confirmed. So, and it does say in there, like Missy said, usually about 24 hours for that. That actually might be the best day for you guys because that's when you're getting your checks. So
Yeah.
that is our last step there. Like I said, 24 hours. Closing packages are also prepared too for the clients. So you guys are going to get your closing packages, and then your clients are going to get theirs as well. Sellers are going to get their proceeds generally wired out unless they request a check, and buyers are going to get theirs too. And in their opening packages, when we send those out, they're telling us how they want to receive those. If they want us to give them to you guys in care, of them, or if they want us to mail it, send it, however they want to receive it. Okay. So that's a basic escrow timeline. So, it's a lot. In 30 days.
Yes.
So, okay, so I'm going to pass it to Cristal so she can go over the more of the GCs. Oh, yes.
Where it says obtain release for judgments, does that mean that there's a judgment against
The seller,
the
yeah.
seller?
So let's say we got that prelim in on, like I said, usually day 2 or day 3, we got that prelim, and there's a child support judgment on there, then we will order it that day. Takes a couple weeks though to get it, depending on the county especially.
Yes.
So if we haven't received that judgment in, then we need to follow up on it. Same with like payoffs for the mortgage. If we haven't gotten the payoff in from the mortgage company yet, we'll follow up on that. Also in the processing stage, we're making sure that those payoffs are staying updated. Because let's say we ordered it and it expired by the next time, or we have to have one that's dated that same month that we're closing. So we're making sure all payoffs, all liens, judgments are current too.
And with judgments and liens and even substandards, that's why it's good to be proactive and get the prelim, pull it as early as you can and get the SI completed and to title.
Yeah.
Because if it comes up later on after title runs the SI, it's going to be a surprise to everybody.
Yeah. And then we're scrambling to get it.
It's a long time. It takes time.
Statement of information, is that what that is?
Yes. Yeah. The statement of identity is the same thing.
It's what they don't want to pull up.
Yeah.
What about old deeds of trust? Is that just varying for whatever title company's working on?
That's a great question.
So we have, if there's any old deeds of trust, we have to make sure that those are cleared because title's gonna, that's the whole point of title, right? To make sure that they're ensuring a clear chain of title to the buyer. So we've seen deeds of trust on there from 30 years ago. From previous owners. Really is up to the titles and company or the title company's discretion if they will just pull it, supplement it out. They'll send us a supplement saying that this item is removed. Sometimes they will have to take it further. We've seen where they have to bond around it. So that's
really a decision by the title.
right.
Yeah, it does differ. Paid in full letter is always helpful. If there was a refinance, your refinance closing statement is helpful to get rid of that older deed of trust.
You'd be surprised. Not many people keep
Right.
documents. So they could say,
I'm not surprised,
Yeah.
especially working with raw land.
oh my gosh, yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
I may have to drive to Bakersfield and find this guy,
Yeah, and then
this file cabinet.
kind of along that same line is like uninsured deeds, especially with land. You'll have one family member buy that property in 1973 and then deed it to somebody else 10 years later, then deed it to somebody else. So by the time we get it in escrow, we have to clean up that chain. So in that processing status is when we are tracking down all that and getting all those items signed and making sure we can get all those encumbrances taken care of.
Well, listing agent should have some of that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
I'm hearing a real good vacant land one with 12 parties on it.
Please. We always tell, we're investigators too. We're detectives. We gotta really chase down some leads sometimes.
Another one. What does this mean? Closing disclosure, release, and balance.
Yes, so that means that the lender sent us the closing disclosure, so the CD, and that's not, so it's got that 3-day waiting period, right? They release the CD to the buyer, so the buyer can sign it, look it over, agree with all the fees. And then they are also, most of the time, sending that to us on the same day so that we can balance. We're plugging in all their fees, letting them know if their fees are not matching ours, because that's our period when we need to get it balanced. And then once we're balanced and the buyer has signed that CD, then they can issue clear to close. Underwriter approved it, and yeah.
And then that's our trigger to know, estimated time of when loan docs should be in escrow. So we
Yeah.
follow up every single day thereafter once we know the CD is issued.
Yeah, so once that CD goes out, it's like a 3-day waiting period, so we can expect it to, if you guys are wondering, when do you guys gonna get loan docs? I could say, well, according to your, the lender, the CD was just issued yesterday, so they're not gonna be able to release them in, 2 more days, so. Anything else?
Any other questions?
What does that mean, funding conditions?
So after lender review of the executed loan document, sometimes they condition us out for items. It could be an evidence of insurance, they need an updated effective date, they might need an ETA or a close of escrow amendment because it's out of contract now. FHA certs are not in yet from sellers, listing and selling agents. Seller final items, typically. That's pretty much it, like closing funds, of course, they need to see how it's.
Number 1,
sourced.
closing fund.
Yes. Updated estimates, and it's usually about it. Sometimes it gets a little bit more, complicated, not really complicated, just a lot, sometimes like a lot. Mobile home lenders are a little bit different. They take their time to fund. They fund to escrow, not to title, there is no title company. They're about 2 to 3 days, business days, for funding and closing.
You know a good mobile home lender, cause on the
First
last.
mortgage?
What do you say, 21st?
21st
Yeah.
mortgage?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're one of the only ones.
They're pretty much, yeah, the 21st and,
Santiago Financial
Santiago.
is the broker usually for 21st mortgage.
I had one on the East Coast, I was selling a mobile home and took forever.
How do you guys feel about Reginald?
Like, do you think
oh,
he's in the
Reginald.
job, or?
I forgot about him. Washington, is that something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the lender.
He can do mobile homes. I've never worked with him because I've never worked with mobile homes.
Yeah.
Yet, unfortunately. But,
I mean, he's good.
okay.
Just, yeah, I mean, he's not the main one. We've all, I mean, my 5 years here, I probably only had like 4 or 5 files with him, but so nothing noteworthy, but, he's got a great, profile picture and his signature bar is flexing.
Oh my gosh, I need to see this.
Who's the younger?
Again, his name is Reginald Washington.
Reginald Washington. I can picture his picture and that's it. I can't picture what company it is.
I know who he is.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah?
He used to be
But I
with
don't know.
MMC.
what under.
He used to be with
Oh,
MMC.
Oh, he did.
I think he's a broker.
He used to be with MMC.
Yeah, he used to be with him.
No, he's a broker. It's just, this obviously isn't the place to talk about names, but I'm gonna say names.
He's Reggie, you never
You
know.
know Reggie,
Yeah, you never know where Reggie is. He pull up on you one day.
Oh, I'm sure I
What
know.
is it, MLS?
We might have been in jail to get that.
Earl has another question. When it says refund to buyer, does that mean, like
Mhm.
pushing in certain things? and
Yeah.
any money left
So
over?
we keep a pad, it's called an escrow pad, we keep that in the file pretty much the whole time, and on both sides, seller and buyer, and it's just what it is, a cushion, so, it's a little bit of padding in case anything comes up last minute, which 99% of the time it doesn't, so, and also, let's say we got that CD and everything in and we balanced to the lender, but our funding date got pushed or our closing date got pushed, so that's gonna change interest and different things, so. Prorations, so they could have wired in more than we actually ended up needing. So pretty much every time the buyer is gonna get a refund check of any overage.
Yeah, when the file is balanced after recording confirmation is received, whatever fee is not applicable will be removed. If there's sort of overnight messenger fees, if they are not applicable, they get taken out.
Wire fees that we
Wire
don't end up
fees.
using.
And then we have to balance to the title charges too. So they are a little bit elevated in the estimate and they have to be just so that the buyer doesn't come up short.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'd rather get a refund check than have to bring in more, right?
Yes, exactly, yes.
Well, I think one comment I will make, and then I'll be quiet. Give them enough time to process the file on closing. Don't get too
I appreciate
antsy.
that. Thank you.
24 hours is 24 hours.
And the checks go to MCA department first, so we have to release them over there first,
Yes.
so you know.
Wait, you can't give us cash?
No, just you, Mike. You're the only one, so tell me.
They only, yeah, they give me Snicker bars.
All right, girl, let me get out of your way.
Thank
Take
you.
over.
Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Wait, Cristal?
Oh wait, I still want to
Cristal.
say hello. I'm interested. Okay, I think it's on now.
Get paid on time.
How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Good? Everyone having a good day filled with classes?
Learning.
Yeah.
I
Learning?
liked it. I
love
liked
it. A lot of learning?
It was great.
Okay.
I guess I'll park myself over there.
So, on my end, you guys got a presentation from Escrow on their Escrow timelines. And on my end, I'm just gonna go over timelines in general for the listing agent and buyer's agent. So I printed out a pamphlet for you guys and I'll pass it to you guys. So this is an overall just the time frames that I go based on. And this one was provided to me on behalf of JD when I first started doing my TC services. So
Yeah, rule number one to getting paid on time is hire Cristal as your
I support that.
TC. And then make sure that it gets to OnTrack.
Oh, I forgot to say OnTrack on the contract. Sorry. So this is a pamphlet for you guys to just review. If you guys want to give it to your clients or for whatever reason, if you have any questions or if you have any doubts in regards to the escrow timeline and transaction, how it's going to go, feel free to give them a copy of this one. And I think it puts them at ease because during the transaction, they get overwhelmed, you know, the selling side as well as the buyer side. It's something new. And sometimes some people just like to have a little bit more information beforehand so that they're aware of how pressing everything's going to be. Regardless of it, it's stressful to all parties. So I wanted to give you guys just a little bit more information. And feel free to look through it, and if you guys have any questions, just let me know. So I'm just going to give you a little bit more information on the TC side. On my end, what I do. And some do's and don'ts for your TCs in general, whoever you guys choose to use. This is something that works for me. So as soon as you guys open escrow, if you guys could email your TC the fully executed RPA, any counter offers or any information that you guys need to provide to escrow. On my end, as soon as I open escrow, I just tell my agents to send me an email with the RPA, any counter offers, and their client's information. Because typically, as soon as we open escrow, the escrow company will reach out to either the agent or the TC, asking them for the contact information of the clients. And it just makes it easier, especially if it's the buyer, so that you have the information present already, and then you send it to them, and then they automatically send them wire instructions. So it makes it easier, and then we don't have a delay on any end. And then also, if you guys are going to be charging any fees, I know some agents charge the TC fee to their clients. So beforehand, I know OnTrack and Keller Williams, well, Keller Williams specifically, they have a $199 office fee. So we automatically put a commission agreement. So if you guys are going to be paying it on your end, just let me know. I'm going to be paying the $199 fee, so I don't have to send a commission agreement. But if you guys are going to have your client pay for it, if it's not on the listing agreement, on the buyer side, you need a commission agreement. So either let me know that they're going to be charging the $199 fee, and if you guys are going to be charging the TC fee, also as well. So that we can put it in there, and then there's no delay. Because if escrow doesn't know that you guys are charging the $199 fee, they don't process it. So you guys will have to pay for it.
So with the changes in having to have a buyer representation agreement, if it's in that representation agreement, do we have to have a separate CA?
Ooh, that's probably a compliance question. But I know the classes that we've done, they said it would be okay. There's an area where you can put it in there. But I think we're all waiting for the 24th when CAR does a class to confirm.
Yeah, because I know I would have accepted the BRE, right?
Yeah.
And not the commission agreement.
Yeah.
But there's terminology in the commission agreement that deals with commission.
Yeah, in the new one they actually have a spot for commission and. So if
Yeah.
there's,
Yeah, the new
Mhm.
one has it.
Mhm.
So, yes but no, but yes.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know as of right now.
So
So,
continue.
And then, if you guys, for whatever reason, like your TC to schedule any inspections or, anything, just let them know beforehand, provide them with your preferred vendors, so that they could automatically, as soon as you guys open escrow, start scheduling inspections, or if you guys are taking care of it on your end, just let them know ahead of time, so that they know what they have to do or they don't have to do. And if you schedule inspections on the first day, it just makes it easier for you to get your reports, you don't have to file for any extensions, and just makes the transaction, move smoothly. And then after that, if I like to have the command login and card login as soon as we open escrow, I already have my agents, passwords and login, so usually when it's a new agent that I'm working with, I ask them to send it to me so I can start working on the file as soon as I get the executed RP. So that, if Angela calls anything out, compliance, I know ahead of time and I could just request it if they're missing a signature on there. And then, for the listing side, if, I just like to request the information for escrow company and title company, depending on who they want to open with, so that, there's no delay on opening escrow. And then on the listing side, I like to have the listing agreement and then any MTs, SLMs, so that as soon as I start my file, I could just import everything and then I don't have to keep nagging the agent to send me contracts, because I know, they're busy. So if I could
It's a nice way of putting it.
so that I don't have to keep reaching out to them in regards to those contracts. So I just like to have everything beforehand so that I can take care of the file and I don't have to reach out to you guys. So that's a little bit of information that I have for you guys. If you guys reviewed the packet, if you guys have any questions for me, just let me know and then I'll be able to.
Do you guys know where Cristal's office is at? Last office towards the back by the bathrooms. The last one right before the bathrooms. So you can always pop in.
The triangular one?
Yeah.
The old storage room?
Yeah.
That's even before your
There's
time.
4 of us in there right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, if you guys pass by, I'm like a little bit hidden, so you won't be able to see me.
Yeah.
I've been told many times you can't see me when I'm in there, so I oftentimes scare people because they don't see me, but I'm always in there. If I'm not in the front, I'm in I call it my little cave. So, I'm typically in there, but if you guys ever have any questions or need to reach out to me, I'm always here. I'm here Monday through Friday, always here. So, always available. But if you guys have any questions?
I do. So if I get an offer and I need to send it to the seller to sign everything, do you type in the offer? I feel weird doing that on the document that's already been signed. What do you guys do?
For
What are you typing in?
Well, when you send it to the seller to sign it, do you type in their info, you just have them sign it, or what's the best thing to do there?
Oh, you're typing in the seller's
Are you
information?
talking about
Yeah,
when you have a purchase
Yeah, you're
agreement?
fine
When I
typing
get
the
an
seller's
offer,
information.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Either, I just type it in and
That's
then,
okay to do that?
yeah, because it hasn't been, fully executed. So I know compliance has an issue if it's been signed by both parties. Anything that wasn't previously there when it wasn't presented to your client, you have to initial it. But if for whatever reason you're presenting it to them first, you could just put it in there and then have them sign it.
Yeah, and then,
You're not changing terms.
Yeah, only Mike Jackson does that.
Yeah.
and then I have 3 people that are signing, so I know there's another form you can add, or sometimes people put 3 signatures under 2 lines.
You could do an ASA. So just let your TC know that you guys have multiple parties, like it's 3 sellers, and then they should automatically know what documents they need to provide
And I-
compliance. Or if not, Angie will check it, and then she puts notes for us, well, agents and TCs, so it'll pop up there any documents that are required.
Sometimes I have to do it instead of the TC, so I just wanna make sure I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I know this has come up a lot too, and it's changed depending on broker and compliance. But let's say you start off with 2 signatures on a purchase agreement, you need to add a 3rd borrower, right? But all your disclosure and everything is signed. What what happens then to add that new buyer? Do they have to go back and sign everything, or can they just do the ASA?
They could do either two things. So you do an AOA adding the new buyer, and then you could do, I believe it's an additional signature addendum, but you have to put all the documents on where it says other. So you have to check if it's the RPA and any other documents. You have to make sure every disclosure is in there. So on the RPA, they have the BBLA and other disclosures. You can't just put BLPA. You have to put all the documents that are in the RPA.
List all the documents as part of
All
it.
of them, all of them. Because if not, Angie will kick it back and then you'll have to get signatures on there. I know she can pass it if you just initial the first page of every document, but it just makes it easier to do the AOA and ASA. Because most buyers don't want to sign like 70 documents at one time.
So we sign it, or what about a modification of terms? When do you use that?
If on the listing side, if there's any terms that have such, like if you have price reductions, if you extended an expiration date, that's when you use an MT.
Yeah, and I know some people do an addendum, but I like the modification of terms,
Yeah.
something like that.
It's really simple. They don't have a lot of lines. You don't have to fill anything in. So
Yeah, I think when it comes to addendums in general, do your best to avoid them. If they have a document already created for it, because the attorneys created those. Whenever you do an addendum, you're liable for that information. Or if you have to, like what I like to do is I have the clients instruct me whether by text or email on the verbiage to use. So it shows that they instructed me to put it in there, not that I went and created the verbiage. Because people have gotten in trouble.
Exactly, we have to be careful what we put on there, and
Yeah.
some people like to be creative and blah, 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 well,
Yeah.
that's a huge no-no, I think.
Yeah. I had someone that tried to cancel escrow with an addendum. They added an addendum for an explanation, and they didn't use their contingencies. I forgot what it was. They had disclosed that their payment was higher than what was disclosed in the beginning, but they could still get approved for the loan. They were still approved for the loan. They should have just used their loan contingency.
They called it.
Yep. So they went and talked to an attorney, and the attorney's like, "You got some ground to stand on." Long story short is, after about 2 weeks of going back and forth, they bought the house.
When in doubt, call the car attorney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah, you can call it Drew's really good at that.
Amazing.
Yeah, but another thing, Drew, he's really good at it, but another thing a lot of agents do is they don't want to use an addendum or an amendment. Like if you're amending something in the contract, like the price change, you'll put an addendum. An addendum is when you add something to the contract. You're not adding anything, you're changing the price. So that's an amendment. So,
Cause I saw.
but they'll both work. Escrow will take an addendum, you're like, alright, whatever.
One agent wrote, C-text overflow, and he didn't have to, he could have easily put it on there. So,
some agents don't know
it
this.
sort of works.
Some agents don't have an awesome office like us and bring this information to you.
Yeah.
Probably EXP agents.
Everyone else.
But they don't have an office.
Yeah.
There's little characters on the screen.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
Does anyone have another question?
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
This is
guys.
Cristal. Thank you, OnTrack. Last class is at 4, guys, so that'll give you some time to stretch. House hacking. Juan is going to teach you how to buy a house, put a Home Depot shirt in the back, and rent it for $1,000.
Get out of here.
I can't really joke to me, but he really did.
Yeah.
He bought a single family. He's got 3
He's got 2 in his backyard.
Oh, that's amazing.